my beloved partners, and also my best friend, Fred. Yeah, studying abroad is possible. Once again, studying abroad is possible. And Fred will share many tips, many inspiration or motivation to all of you.
Please welcome Frederick Adjapong. Hi, Fred. You can see that.
Great. Hi, my name is Frederick. As been introduced, I am currently an international student pursuing a master's degree in public administration at the University of Kentucky. Farid is my good friend, and I have been in the United States. I'm originally from Ghana. Ghana is in West Africa, and I moved to the United States in 2019 to pursue my first master's. That is after I have graduated from the University of Kentucky, the University of Cape Coast in Ghana. So I moved to the United States to pursue a master's degree on a scholarship at Ohio University. And when I was done with that, I moved to the University of Kentucky to start a second master's degree in public administration. So today I'm going to talk about three things, which surrounds the topic studying abroad. How do an international student tackle the different cultures that we encounter in the different countries we want to study? When you are a student, is it possible that you have a part-time job? Are you able to work and school at the same time? And if you're working, studying, and schooling, in a new environment, how do you manage your time to be able to cope with the challenges that comes with it? So this is basically what I'm going to surround my session around. And if there are any questions, please feel free, go ahead and ask. So let's begin. So as you may know, coming from Africa is very different from being in the United States. And it's a diverse country where you have opportunity to meet a lot of people. So in Ghana, we speak the British English. And, coming into America, which is, a bit different from the British English, the American English language has been some sort of culture I had to deal with. The food in America is very different from that of, Africa. And also the standards and the tradition that is in Africa is very different. The customs also. So let's talk about the language. There are a lot of people, and in America, it's not only English that it's allowed to be spoken, even though that is the largest. But me coming from Africa, I speak two different languages. I speak my native language, which is TWI, and English. And because America is predominantly English-speaking country, it's quite easy to blend in because almost everybody speaks English. However, there are different pronunciations, there are different use of the words that makes it a bit challenging as an international student. The British English will spell program as PROGRA with a double M, but America will spell it with only one M. So if you're writing an essay, you would probably want to use the American M instead of your British M. Let's talk about the food. From Africa, I am quite used to more of spicy food, and living in Africa for more than 20 years of my life, I am used to the food in Africa. So I remember the first culture shock I met when I was in America was this burger and stuff like that. I am not used to it, right? So with time, I got accustomed to it, and then it's absolutely fine. And remember, because it's a diverse country, you can go to the supermarket, get the food stuff, and prepare what you are used to. And talking about the social standard in my country, if you greet someone with the left hand, it's considered as disrespectful. In America, you're in class, you can raise your left hand, and nobody cares. Right. And, there are a couple of things that differ, but the system gives you the flexibility to be able to adjust with time. Let's move on to the part-time job. So I introduced myself as someone who is a student, and I also work with a Kentucky Transportation Center. Now, as an international student in the United States, you are allowed to work not more than 20 hours on campus. And when school is on break, you can do 20 to 30 off campus, that is on a CPT. So in my first university, I was a teaching assistant. So I was employed as a teaching assistant. That is the reason why my stipend was paid. So my school fees and my stipends was paid because I was employed by the same department that I was schooling as a student, and I was assisting a professor. So I grade assignments, I more or less like design PowerPoint, anything that the professor was assigned to me. So as a student, I have my time that I'm supposed to go to my normal classes, do my assignment, and also 20 hours within the week to assist the professor. Now, currently, in my current university, which is University of Kentucky, I am a research assistant. In this case, I've been assigned to a different department, which is the Kentucky Transportation Center, which is the research hub of the whole Kentucky, transportation, service. So we sort of research on, issues that could lead to the construction of roads. We research on ideas that has to be implemented in, in government for the road sector. So basically, that's our job. And I am supposed to assist a professor in this research. So any job that he assigns to me, then, I do it. So as a student with the Martin School of Public Policy and Administration, I go to school, I do my assignment, everything, and also work as, a student with a research center. And so my school fees, my health insurance, my stipends are paid as a result of, working with the Kentucky Transportation Center. Now, apart from that, if you're an international student who happens to be an undergraduate or whichever field you are pursuing, it is still possible that there are a lot of other jobs on campus that you can pick and combine with that. The highest that one can do is 20 hours when school is in session. So because I have 20 hours with the Kentucky Transportation Center, I cannot pick any other jobs, even though there could be other jobs, but the limit I can go is the 20 hours. So assuming my scholarship was such that I would have 15 hours with the Kentucky Transportation Center, then I can work any other job 5 hours in addition, on campus. So basically, that is how it works. So let's talk about time management. So you school, you work, how do you manage this time? Time management is at every aspect of our life, notwithstanding what you do. And, being in a foreign land where things are a bit different, you need to get things done with, the limited time, which is 24 hours. Sometimes the 24 hours is not enough, but, I go with, a couple of things. The first one is planning. So there's time for everything. Biblical even says that there's time for everything. So I know there's time for lecture, there's time for my assignment, there's time for classes. So I do a part-time YouTube in addition to this. And I started a YouTube in this year, which is somewhere in January, and I was learning editing, scripting, shooting, everything on my own. So combining my classes, combining the research I do on YouTube, plus my assistantship duties and other life aspects that I have to deal with, time became sort of time management became something that I really had to come face to face with, that at any point in time, I shouldn't let one thing overlap the other, because there's always a deadline to an assignment to meet. There's always a lecture to attend. And then I also have to feed my YouTube subscribers, the needed information as well. So basically it's planning and being disciplined. So when it's time for lecture, it's time for lecture. It's time to script my YouTube content, it's time to script it. And always my professor whom I work with at the Kentucky Transportation Center has a deadline for me to meet with assignments that he gives me. So I need to make sure that I'm disciplined. I have to, sleep at a specific time I'm supposed to sleep, wake up at a specific time. And, coming from Ghana, I'm not used to the weather here, especially when, during the winter. There's nothing like snow in most part of Africa. I've never seen snow before. So you wake up and it's very cold, but still life has to go on. So basically discipline and, being able to stick to what you're supposed to do is how I'm able to manage my studying abroad, working as well, and also doing other extracurricular stuff that I combine. I hope I've been able to exhaust the time that I've been given. I'll be glad to hear from you if you have any questions about how to go about this whole study abroad thing. Having 2 scholarships in 2 different schools, it's quite a big deal. So it's also possible to do it with or without money. It's possible to study abroad. All right.
Do you plan to take your third master's degree, or being a YouTuber, or continue to be PhD students, or anything? Please tell us about your future goal.
Yeah. So my future goal is hopefully to enter into a PhD, in public policy or public administration or any IT related, field. So I'm looking into entering a PhD and not a third master's degree. Yeah. So I'm glad you asked. That's a fantastic question.
And I would love to ask you particular specific things about the part-time job. Is that possible for students who entering the part-time job related to for whatever? So for instance, I am eager to study about public health. So is that possible for me with my field experience in Indonesia, entering the part-time job, let's say in Europe?
In the US, the part-time job is your scholarship. And so you are being assigned what to do. So for example, in my first master's, I work for my department, which has awarded me a scholarship. So it could be that you are studying public health. However, you will be a teaching assistant for a lecturer in that department, not necessarily work in a public health sector on or off campus. Now, in terms of Europe, let's talk about UK or any place like that. You would probably be given a specific scholarship. Let's talk about maybe the MasterCard scholarship, the Chevening scholarship. So as a Chevening scholar, probably they would assign you a couple of things to do and not necessarily apply for the job separately. So the part-time job is not a separate application from your scholarship application. So in US makes it very simple. I apply to the school, I ask the director, would I be given scholarship? And he says, okay, yes. So they are going to not ask me to apply for the job separately. No, the job is attached to my scholarship. So the scholarship dictates more or less like what I am supposed to do. So there's no separate school application from the job application or the scholarship application. Europe might be different. Europe, you might gain admission and apply to any of the scholarships separately. So if you gain admission to any university in Europe and the school does not offer you the scholarship, it means that you have to get a scholarship from either the Commonwealth, the Chevening, any other scholarship to support you. So usually the scholarship is about a research or any other thing and not necessarily supposed to be a part-time job. You know, many other countries have their own definition or rules and regulations for the visa given to international students.
Hey, Fred. Hey, Fred. Thanks.
I am good. Thank you for asking.
nice to know you. I'm Gani, by the way. So I have a little bit question that clinging to my inner mind. So could you mind to share with us or spill a tea about how you set up, how you manage your scale priority in your day-to-day basis? That makes us become, you know, like a completely affordable to us and quite miserably. It depends on your situation for now.
So if I heard you well, you're asking about how I manage my skills. Is that what you're saying?
Yep. I mean, how you set up your scale priority in your leisure time or in your peak time in your throughout your study abroad system or lesson.
Great. So that's a good question. So priority, what comes first is, you know, mostly my being here, right? I'm on a visa, and so the visa has an expiration. I am on an I-20. As an international student, you have a lot of do's and don't do's. So my priority has been my studies being here, because that's the main reason why I'm here. Then the next thing that will come will be my part-time job, which is my scholarship. If I lose my scholarship, I wouldn't be able to continue my studies. So as an international student, you know, on an F1 visa, which is a bit different from the J1, on an F1 visa, you need to maintain a CGPA 3.0 and above to still keep your scholarship. So it's very important. So my priority has always been my books. So I need to get that done. I need to get the assignment done. I need to get a lecture done before any other thing. Then if I'm getting that done, what is pushing me to study or what is supporting my studies is my scholarship. And so I need to make sure my 20 hours a week, which is given to me, I have to work on the job that has been so that I continue to have my scholarship. Then when these things are done, I then focus on other things such as my YouTube channel. There are a lot of people who need the ideas as to how to go about this whole study abroad process. And especially my concentration has been from where I'm from, the major hindrance has been the money that is needed to pursue this study abroad dream. So I have always focused on, you know, letting people know that in the US, there are schools you can apply for free, that you can get full scholarship and stuff like you don't really need money. So then my YouTube comes, and I really value family and friendship. So it has been academics, assistantship, part-time duties, YouTube, family, and, you know, friends, other stuff. Thank you for asking, bro.
Well, good answers, Fred. Thanks very much. And have you ever felt some of overwhelmed abundance across your, you know, daily activities or something?
At any point in time, Farid will tell you. At any
Wow,
point in time, you know.
So you are, yep.
I don't know how the academic system in Indonesia is, but in Africa, it's not very overwhelming as it is here. And I think because I had my first master's at Ohio University, I used that as a medium to get used to the American system. So there are a lot of things that might have been new in my new school but it's not, because I've gotten used to it in my previous experience in my first master's degree. But at any point in time, it's the whole assignment, you know, the whole a lot of readings to do as a master's student, you know, it's overwhelming, bro. So I'm glad you asked that. It's really overwhelming that you check your to-do list for the day and you're like, there's a lot of things to do, right? So yeah, it's always overwhelming.
Well, thank you very much for asking one great question as well, Gane, and also thank you very much, Fred, for.
I am good. Thank you for asking.
Nice to know you. I'm Gani, by the way. So I have a little bit question that cling to my inner mind. So could you mind to share with us or specialty about how you set up, how you manage your scale priority in your day-to-day basis? That makes us become, like a completely affordable to us and quite miserably. It depends on your situation for now.